how to live a life of serenity in this transient world. Have you ever felt exhausted by life's endless struggles and wished you could start over, living a simple and peaceful life? This essay is for anyone weary of seeking meaning in an ever-changing world. It serves as a wake-up call for lost souls and a gentle light guiding hearts that yearn to awaken, to begin now and truly live with calm in this fleeting existence. The notion of a transient world may consist of only 2 words, yet it contains countless harsh truths and disappointments of human life. Each person carries a multitude of dreams. Some long for wealth and honor, some yearn for unconditional love, and some simply wish for stability. Yet few realize that everything we grasp so tightly is, in the end, only temporary. No matter how many highs and lows we experience, this world remains a guest house. We borrow a body and a lifetime for a while, and then we depart with empty hands, just as we arrived. Those who hold high rank cannot take their titles beyond the grave. Those who amass riches still rest in a small, unadorned grave no different from that of a pauper. Some spend their tears on unrequited love, others drain their energy for a position, and some devote half their lives to vengeance and material gain. At the end, when we look back, what among these truly sustains our inner peace? Understanding that life is transient is not an invitation to give up, but a call to live each moment fully, with gratitude and awareness. No one forbids us from dreaming. Yet if we dream without mindfulness, we drift endlessly through the world's illusions. When asked why we need a wake-up call, we can answer that too many live without truly living, pursuing goals set by society. By the time they pause, youth has slipped away, family bonds have faded, and they no longer recognize themselves. A wake-up call is more than a concept. It is a moment when we dare to face ourselves, to ask where we are heading, whether we have truly lived, and whether those years of youth were spent well if they only bought fleeting admiration that soon fades. It shines a light into the hidden corners of our hearts, areas we have ignored because of pain, fear, or reluctance to change. Only when we muster the courage to look back do we discover the path ahead. There is a saying, do not wait until your body is broken before learning to slow down, and do not wait until your heart can no longer feel before learning to love. Life may seem long, yet it is brief. Those who have bid farewell at a graveside know this all too well. Yesterday we shared a meal, today we face separation. Yesterday we held hands, today only a cold incense stick remains. Therefore, if you can, learn to let go, not because you are weak, but because you understand that holding on exhausts you and nothing endures forever. Learn to live just enough, to love just enough, and to leave enough space in your heart for peace. Above all, once we grasp that life is transient, we cease blaming and resenting, for everything flows and nothing is eternal. We pass through loss gently, knowing that suffering is but a brief segment on the long journey called life. In that very impermanence, we find a strange peace. That is the first step toward living serenely in this fleeting realm. Knowing life is temporary makes us cherish each authentic moment. Some pains seem endless, yet they mark the beginning of a new journey, the journey back to ourselves. We often fear suffering, loss, and disappointment. Yet if we look deeply at each trial, we see that suffering does not aim to destroy us, but to awaken us. Many walk a spiritual path only after a great crisis. Some discover they never truly lived until bankruptcy strips them bare. Others grasp the value of each family meal only after losing a loved one. Some learn to treasure every breath after a serious illness. Suffering is a stern yet sincere teacher that engraves scars on our hearts, so our minds soften and our spirits awaken. Awakening is not a dramatic transformation, but a gentle, gradual process. Each day we pause to reflect on our actions, to notice what is unkind or unjust. Each morning we remind ourselves to move more slowly, to soften within, and to show greater compassion toward others, toward life, and toward ourselves. Consider the woman who endured 2 failed marriages and lost her child in a tragic accident. Many saw her as unfortunate, yet after such suffering she chose to live in a humble mountain monastery, tending plants, cooking meals, and listening to the temple bell. She simply said that previously she lived to please others, and now she lived to thank life for granting her a chance to begin again. Such is true awakening, not loud or ostentatious, but a quiet, profound transformation. Awakening also means we stop blaming parents, society, circumstances, or those who hurt us. We come to understand that everyone bears invisible burdens, and that even those who harm others are victims of their own suffering. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting, but freeing ourselves from the chains of anger. A friend who was a successful entrepreneur suffered a stroke that robbed him of speech for 2 years. He later wrote that during those silent days he learned to listen and, unable to speak, he discovered how to feel. He thanked his illness for showing him that until then he had lived only on the surface, never touching the depths of his own soul. When you no longer see an enemy in anyone and nothing feels insurmountable, you have begun to awaken. Do not fear tears that fall at night or the ache of a broken heart. Those emotions are doors to be opened, not shut. Beyond suffering lies the realm of serenity. Awakening is pausing not to abandon life, but to embark anew, in a truer and more meaningful way. Living with serenity. 2 simple words that nonetheless represent the ultimate destination for so many in this crowded world. After all, to live amid life's storms is not to escape them, but to learn to stand firm through the gale without letting your heart be tossed. Some believe that with enough money, status, or love, serenity will follow. Yet once they attain it all, they still feel empty. For true serenity does not come from without, but from the quiet within. It is when we no longer vie with life, no longer hold resentment toward others, no longer regret ourselves. A serene person is not one without problems, but one who can calmly accept whatever arises, without illusion, without complaint, without anger, understanding that every event is a lesson and every hardship a step in our growth. Once I visited an elderly meditation master living in a small hermitage in the mountains and asked him, "Master, how can one live serenely amid so much trouble?" He smiled kindly and answered, "Serenity comes when you no longer need things to go your way, but learn to follow the flow of causes and conditions, accept what cannot be changed, and quietly sow seeds of goodness each day." Serenity is not avoiding reality, but embracing it with a generous heart. It is facing your anger without letting it consume you, and bearing your wounds without letting them destroy your faith in goodness. If your heart lacks peace, you will suffer even in abundance. But if your heart is calm, you can smile gently amid hardship like a lotus blooming in mud, never complaining of the dirt, only striving toward the sun. Serenity is realizing you need not become someone else. Only live fully as yourself in the present with kindness, gentleness, and sincerity. Many wake up late in life to find they have never truly lived on their own terms, chasing others' expectations, status, fame, wealth, only to stare into the mirror and not recognize the reflection. But it matters not, for as long as you breathe and rise each morning, you can begin again. To begin again does not mean erasing the past, but learning to move forward with all you have experienced, carrying your scars without letting them define you, using your brokenness to build a new self that is deeper, kinder, and softer. We were once innocent children, then boastful youth, then failures. All of these are still us. So why not love ourselves a little more, show ourselves some compassion, and dare to say, "From now on, I will live differently." A man in his 50s once told me, "It took me more than half my life to realize I need not prove anything to anyone. Now I live simply, tending my garden, reading books, caring for my elderly mother, nurturing a few orchids, and I have never felt more truly alive." Starting over requires no special conditions, no great fortune, no cheering crowds, only a sincere heart and a brave spirit. Begin by eating more slowly, speaking more gently, forgiving those who hurt you, and loving yourself even when imperfect. Each new morning is a gift, each moment an opportunity to live differently. You need not wait for perfection to find peace. In accepting your imperfections, you have already taken a great step toward serenity. If today you feel lost, stop, sit down, breathe deeply, write a few lines to yourself, read a passage of scripture, listen to gentle music, do something small yet filled with love. And so you will begin again, gently and profoundly. Do not regret the years gone by. Do not lament your mistakes. It is because you lived those mistakes that you have today's clear and compassionate eyes. In the end, living a meaningful life is not about achieving grand feats, but about living each day with kindness, quiet sincerity, and wholeheartedness. Whether sharing a family meal, embracing an elderly mother, or offering a gentle word to a stranger. Begin right now from where you stand. No need to wait for anyone or any special day. Because life is fleeting, each moment of serenity is the greatest blessing. All existence follows the eternal law of cause and effect, reflected in the saying, "Those of virtue naturally receive blessings. Those of tranquil heart naturally shine." If today you choose to treat others kindly, tomorrow life will return kindness to you. Cause and effect are fair and unerring. Each life is like a garden, and every action, thought, and word is a seed sown in the soil of your soul. Whatever seed you plant will, sooner or later, bear fruit true to its nature. Those who live with virtue and a kind heart will surely harvest sweetness. From seeds of goodness, blessings will grow without effort, just as virtue spreads quietly like the fragrance of a rare flower. When you live a life of integrity, blessings come naturally, without craving. Those around you feel your goodness and respond with love, respect, and often unexpected opportunities. Similarly, those with kind and compassionate hearts naturally become beautiful in appearance and bearing. Inner beauty carries a special charm that far surpasses conventional standards of outward looks. Gentleness, tolerance, and sincerity shine through the eyes, the smile, and every small gesture, making such people always beautiful in the eyes of others. That beauty endures over time and cannot be eroded by age. Conversely, life shows us that no one can forever conceal the truth in their conscience. We may deceive the heavens, fool the earth, and mislead others, but our conscience remains clear. It never lets us rest if we have done wrong. The haunting remorse in our hearts is the clearest proof of the inner scales of justice that weigh every action. That conscience is the strictest judge from which no one can escape. We may try to flee many things in life, shirking responsibility, evading debts, or avoiding painful relationships. Yet absolutely no one can escape the karma they have created. The law of cause and effect operates with absolute fairness and favors no one. Every action, every word, every thought leaves a mark, all recorded in the universe's invisible ledger. When the time is ripe, what we have sown will return to us. We may elude it for a while, but we cannot hide forever. Yet the most wondrous and comforting aspect of this law is that opportunity is always open to everyone. If today we choose to live kindly, to treat those around us well, to sow seeds of goodness, then tomorrow we will surely reap complete kindness in return. Kindness may not arrive immediately, but it will come, and often at the moment we need it most. Life sometimes brings injustice, but the law of cause and effect never errs. Therefore, when faced with hardship or injustice, we must firmly believe in this principle of fairness. The sincerity, kindness, and virtue we preserve are our most precious treasures, bringing us inner peace and calm. Looking at society, we see that those who live honestly and kindly always receive support from their community. Conversely, selfish and greedy people often encounter many obstacles and misfortunes. No one can live happily and peacefully if they constantly lie and harm others. In Buddhist teaching, cause and effect is a fundamental yet profoundly deep lesson, a guiding principle that steers people onto the right path. Those who understand and trust the law of cause and effect wholeheartedly will surely lead meaningful, peaceful, and happy lives, without fear of any challenge. Indeed, cause and effect is not meant to instill fear, but to offer a wonderful gift, empowering us to consciously shape our lives in the best possible way. We master our destiny by choosing to sow seeds of goodness each day. Let our conscience guide us, for when we live in harmony with our conscience, we need never fear or regret. To speak of Buddhism is to speak of cause and effect, of karma, a principle by which people are responsible for their own actions, not by divine decree. Individuals are born into this world in vastly different circumstances, some beautiful, others plain, some wealthy, others impoverished, some healthy, others disabled, some intelligent, others not. All these differences arise from the law of cause and effect operating over many past lives into the present and extending into future lives. The law of cause and effect encompasses all beings. Because many do not understand this teaching, they chase fame and material wealth, compete, and even harm one another, creating much bad karma and later suffering its consequences. Those who believe in and understand cause and effect never seek happiness through greed, selfishness, or cruelty. They always cultivate wholesome actions for the benefit of all beings, dedicating themselves to service. Whether their lives bring happiness or suffering depends entirely on themselves. With this understanding, they do not blame others, accuse heaven, or excuse their fate. Cause and effect, karma, are the sources of our happiness and suffering. When speaking of Buddhism, people immediately think of cause and effect, karma, a fundamental principle governing all life and all things in the universe. It is not merely a philosophical theory, but an immutable truth, showing that every action, word, and thought today leaves an imprint and produces results in the future, whether soon or far, in this life or many lives to come. Unlike beliefs that attribute our fate to a deity's decree, Buddhism affirms that all differences between individuals, from circumstances to physical form, intelligence to fortune or suffering, are direct or indirect results of past behaviors. Some are born beautiful and wealthy, others poor, unattractive, and sick. These differences are neither random nor unjust, but consequences of the wholesome or unwholesome seeds each person has sown in the past. The law of cause and effect spans more than one lifetime, stretching from the past through the present into the future. It functions like a continuous chain of links, not erring even by a hair's breadth. Therefore, those who deeply understand and trust this teaching always reflect on themselves, living responsibly with each thought and deed rather than blaming others or complaining about fate. Sadly, in modern life, not everyone realizes this. Many become entangled in the pursuit of fame, power, and wealth, resorting to unscrupulous tactics and even violence to achieve personal goals. But by sowing seeds of unwholesomeness, greed, selfishness, hatred, they unknowingly create the seeds of future suffering for themselves. Conversely, those who grasp cause and effect never seek happiness through wrongful means. They know that true happiness arises not from taking, but from giving, serving, and living virtuously. They strive to plant seeds of goodness, from a friendly smile or sincere word to helping others and keeping a pure heart. Such deeds not only bring joy now, but also cultivate the ground for blessings to come. Understanding the law of cause and effect is also the key to living serenely, no longer blaming others, resenting life, or complaining to heaven, for everyone reaps what they sow. No one can suffer in our place, nor grant blessings unless we diligently practice and live the right way. This realization frees us from being bound by prejudice or fate, enabling us to actively transform our lives in a positive direction. The law of cause and effect is by no means punitive, but is the universe's fair and compassionate lesson. It encourages people to turn toward goodness, nurture compassion, and help build a harmonious, just, and loving society. When each individual sows wholesome causes, the whole community will reap sweet fruits. Therefore, understanding and living in accordance with the law of cause and effect is the key to unlocking true happiness. This is the path traversed by the Buddha and the Bodhisattvas, whose light guides all beings across the sea of suffering toward the shore of peace. In life, beyond grasping the law of cause and effect, everyone must deeply appreciate the power of forgiveness and tolerance. Forgiveness is not a sign of weakness, but the greatest strength of the human spirit. When we forgive, we free others from torment and liberate ourselves from psychological burdens. Tolerance allows us to live with tranquility and ease, for those who forgive are less swayed by anger or hatred. Sometimes we face situations that wound us unjustly or betray us deeply. Yet revenge or clinging to resentment cannot bring peace. Only compassion and forgiveness truly cleanse and rebirth the soul. Forgiveness is one of the beautiful seeds we can sow in life, expanding our hearts into realms of peace. Alongside tolerance, gratitude is an indispensable element of the serene life journey. A grateful person always recognizes that everything they enjoy today comes from the efforts of many others. Gratitude prevents us from losing ourselves in the glare of success. It keeps our hearts kind and deeply aware of life's value. Whenever gratitude is expressed, its positive energy spreads widely, forging strong bonds within the community. While cherishing life's blessings, we must also learn to face difficulties and challenges with a positive attitude. It is through these trials that we discover our inner strength and appreciate the power of perseverance and resilience. Obstacles are precious lessons that help us grow and opportunities to cultivate courage and steadfastness in life's storms. To live a truly meaningful life, one must devote themselves wholeheartedly to the present. The past offers valuable lessons, and the future holds promise, but only the present is the precious gift we truly hold. By fully living each moment, we clearly sense happiness and joy, no longer fretting over what has not yet come. Living fully in every minute helps us grasp the true meaning of life. The law of cause and effect operates not only through clear-cut deeds of good or evil, but also through positive life attitudes, forgiveness, gratitude, acceptance, and simplicity in daily living. By understanding and practicing these, one is sure to enjoy a more fulfilling and complete life. Life is like a fragile wisp of smoke passing through the vast world. Fame, wealth, and status, all that we chase will vanish when we depart this life. Life is inherently impermanent. No one knows what tomorrow holds. No one can forever hold on to material things. Whether rich or poor, powerful or ordinary, in the end we all return to dust. The only difference lies in what we have done during our time here. Some spend a lifetime accumulating wealth only to end up alone, without genuine love or appreciation. Others, not wealthy, freely help those in need, living meaningful lives that earn them respect and affection. Kind deeds and moments of sharing are the most precious legacy a person can leave behind. Instead of endlessly pursuing impermanent things, cherish each passing moment. Love and treat others sincerely, for genuine affection does not fade with time. Sow seeds of kindness to make this world better. When we leave this life, we cannot carry gold or silver, but we can leave a priceless spiritual legacy, compassion, tolerance, and all the good we have done. A meaningful life is not measured by material wealth, but by what we have contributed and the hearts we have touched. Lives so that, looking back, we have no regrets, and when we depart, our souls can rise like a gentle wisp of smoke into the blue sky. In the modern world, people are increasingly caught up in work, money, fame, and unending ambition. We often set ever higher goals, wanting more than what we have, yet forget one crucial truth. Happiness does not lie in how much we have, but in whether we feel content. Knowing sufficiency is a profound life philosophy that helps one find serenity and true happiness amid life's turmoil. Knowing sufficiency does not mean accepting poverty or abandoning dreams, but understanding our limits, being satisfied with what we have, and not being swept away by endless desires. The Buddha taught that contentment brings happiness. In Confucianism, Mencius emphasized that those who do not know contentment, even if wealthy, are not truly joyful. Those who know contentment, even if poor, live serenely. These views show that true happiness lies not in material abundance, but in one's state of mind. Why does knowing sufficiency bring happiness and peace? Because when we always feel lack and want more, our minds remain anxious and tense. Those who chase endless wealth often face tremendous pressure and may sacrifice health, relationships, and time to reach their goals. Conversely, those who know sufficiency can enjoy what they have, cherish every moment, and avoid being trapped by greed. People who do not know contentment easily compare themselves to others and become competitive. This can make them selfish and alienated from friends and family. When we know sufficiency, we compete less, compare less, and build more genuine, lasting relationships. A person who appreciates what they have is also more inclined to share, empathize, and treat others kindly, enabling them to enjoy life without the pressure to accumulate more. They can spend time doing what they love and savor simple pleasures, a warm family meal, a peaceful afternoon with tea, or a good book. These bring authentic joy, free from material dependence, and make life more meaningful. Knowing sufficiency does not mean ceasing to strive, but knowing how to set reasonable limits for oneself. When we are no longer swept away by endless desires, we can focus on spiritual values, contribute to society, and help others. These actions not only make life more meaningful, but also bring deep and lasting joy. Life is never short of moments of sorrow. People come and go, gains are made and lost. Our hearts are like rivers, constantly stirred by waves of worry. But have you ever asked yourself where these afflictions come from, and why we cling to them so tightly? We suffer mainly because we refuse to let go. We try to hold on to things that were never meant to be ours forever. We grieve the loss of what we thought would remain by our side, nursing our sorrows and regrets without end. In truth, nothing in life is ever truly lost. What belongs to you will return in time. What does not belong to you, no matter how tightly you grasp, will slip away. This is the law of impermanence taught by the Buddha. Letting go of afflictions may sound simple, but practice is anything but easy. Letting go does not mean forgetting, nor is it abandoning responsibility or life itself. Letting go is a state of mind, the ability to face a problem directly, see its true nature, and gently set it down so we can continue our journey with calm and grace. The Buddha taught that afflictions arise from greed, anger, and delusion. Greed makes us crave more than we have. Anger breeds resentment, jealousy, and pain when things do not go our way. Delusion blinds us, leaving us lost and unsettled. So how do we let go? First and foremost, return to the breath. When we quietly observe each inhalation and exhalation, we become aware of this serene present moment. A full breath is a moment free from past regrets and future anxieties. Each breath reconnects us to the here and now, bringing peace and clarity. Next, we must deeply examine the afflictions within us. We do not avoid or fight them, but look them squarely in the face. Afflictions are fleeting thoughts born of unfulfilled desires, unhealed wounds, or inner conflicts. When we understand this, we see that afflictions are not enemies to be destroyed, but teachers to be learned from. We smile and welcome them, and they will naturally dissolve when their time has passed. With this awareness, afflictions lose their power over our minds. They become like clouds drifting across the vast sky, arriving and departing, gathering and dispersing, never remaining forever. Live like water. Even when confronted by countless obstacles or rocky barriers, water flows on silently, gently overcoming every hurdle until it reaches the boundless sea in peace. Those who live like water know how to let go. They do not cling to everything in their hearts, nor force themselves always to be right. They live with generosity, compassion, and tolerance. Such hearts cannot be harmed, for no one can wound a soul ready to release all attachments, anger, and suffering. On the path of letting go, remember that happiness is neither distant nor the result of an endless quest. True happiness lies within each of us, always waiting for us to turn inward. The moment we release our suffering, we feel an immediate calm and lightness. Each morning when you awaken, remind yourself how fleeting and fragile life is. Both sorrow and joy are as transient as dew evaporating in the sunrise. Let your mind be as light as a breeze, as bright as dawn, and as free as a bird in flight. Letting go of afflictions is the first step on the journey back to the truth of peace and eternal happiness. Let go to live, to love, to forgive, and to truly experience life. When you let go, you will discover that peace was never far away but always within your own heart. Return, settle in, smile, and let go. Serenity has always been here, waiting for you to come home. Life is a journey of release. Have you ever sat quietly in the slanted afternoon sun, sighing as you reflect on years gone by? Things that once pained and tormented you may now drift away like clouds across the sky. That is life. Some lessons must be lived deeply to be understood. Letting go is not losing, but finding peace. Life is short, yet we live as if it will never end. We clutch people, possessions, status, praise, and past moments as if afraid there will be no second chance. But how much is enough? Loved ones depart, cherished things decay. No matter how well cared for, this body cannot escape impermanence. So what truly belongs to us? Only a peaceful mind, the one thing we can carry with us without holding it. Only a heart willing to release helps us walk lightly along a thorny path. Letting go is not escaping, but understanding that holding onto a withered leaf cannot bring back autumn. Letting go means we no longer demand the world conform to our will, but quietly adjust ourselves to live in harmony with conditions. Sometimes someone must leave so we can learn not to cling. Sometimes a door must close so another can open. The journey of a human life is not about seeking permanence, but learning to smile amid gains and losses, learning to love without attachment, learning to live fully in each moment without fearing the changes tomorrow may bring. Life is a dream. An awakening is returning home. So if today your heart feels heavy over something you cannot yet release, sit down and take a deep breath. Look up at the sky. See that clouds still drift, birds still fly, sunlight still rests lightly on your shoulders. And remember that you are still here, breathing and alive. That is the greatest gift of all. Letting go is not losing, but truly setting down the burdens we've carried too long. They may be worries about making ends meet, hidden anxieties, or nameless cares that weigh on our shoulders every morning. Some things seem insignificant, yet when lodged forever in the heart, they become shackles. One day we all must learn to let go, not to give up, but to lighten our load. For when we release at the right moment, life hurts less. We often think strength means holding on longer, bracing ourselves better, and pushing forward no matter how tired we become. Yet true strength sometimes lies in the courage to let go. Letting go does not mean failure. It means having the bravery to tell yourself, it's time to set down these old burdens, pause, and listen to my heart with a peaceful soul. We cannot move forward if we continue to carry the weight of the past. We cannot find happiness if our minds remain tangled with worries. And then we realize, we let go not because something is unimportant, but because we are too exhausted to keep carrying it. Letting go reminds us that we deserve peace, too. Some people live their whole lives believing that serenity is a luxury reserved for the exceptional or the fortunate. But peace is everyone's right. We may lack wealth, perfection, or universal approval, yet we still have the right to live with tranquility. Indeed, life rolls out no red carpet and spares no one from loss. But living does not mean enduring endlessly. Life can be strange. We think we must brace ourselves to be strong. We think grit is the hallmark of resilience. Yet we grow irritable, more often sad, and find ourselves weeping alone at night. Day after day, we force ourselves to appear fine for others, to avoid troubling them, to fulfill roles life has imposed. But even the straightest back eventually bends under strain. Even the strongest heart yields to exhaustion. Some burdens we carry without being asked, simply because we fear no one else will. We think we are strong, but deep inside we are children holding back tears. We push ourselves until there's not a lack of strength, but a lack of reason to keep pushing. Some things feel like our whole world while we're inside them, but when we dare to step out, we find they are only a small corner of the vast world. Letting go is choosing anew, stepping back to see that many paths remain. Letting go is not discarding everything, but setting down what drains us, abandoning the roles that fatigue our hearts. An old man in a mountain village would trek to the town market weekly to buy rice sacks, then silently carry them up the hill, crossing a shallow stream. He walked slowly, for rushing risked being swept away or dropping his rice. When asked why he didn't seek help, he merely smiled. I carry a little at a time. It's better to arrive with the load than to struggle so much that I must abandon it midway. Life is the same. We all bear rice sacks on our backs, responsibilities, worries, old memories, broken dreams. Some clutch them all, but we're out before reaching the end. The wise do not shoulder the most, but know when to release enough to complete the journey and reach the shore. On life's boat, no one can row with a heart weighed down forever. More water in the hull means more risk. More weight means more rocking. Some anxieties feel necessary, but really are stones tied to our feet. To cross the deep river, if we do not let go, we will drown. If we do not pause, we will exhaust ourselves. Life does not demand we be stronger than others, but that we be lighter than our past selves. Let go just a little, and you will feel your shoulders breathe again. Let go just a little, and you will hear the wind in your soul and know you are alive. On some paths, victory is not in who goes first, but in who arrives last with an intact heart. Letting go is saving yourself from a sinking boat, dropping heavy sacks so that you have strength to reach the shore. No one lives for you, and no one can bear your hidden storms. So if you feel weary, release something, and you will realize how long you have carried too much. Those burdens are not always visible. They are sleepless nights, unheard sighs, and smiles hiding the urge to surrender. Yet we persist, afraid to upset others, afraid to fail, pushing so hard we forget to ask if we still know ourselves. We grow up in a world that preaches effort, success, and supremacy. Few teach us that ease is also a value, that living simply and kindly, without relentless competition, is wisdom deep and profound. Some things take years of courage to set down, not because we are weak, but because we have learned that peace never accompanies perpetual strain. In a monastery, an old monk lived with his sole disciple. One day the disciple knelt before his teacher, tears brimming. "Master, I have tried so hard, chanting sutras, meditating, working diligently, but why does my heart still feel heavy? Why can't I release my sorrows?" The old monk said nothing, but quietly poured 2 cups of tea. He handed one to the novice and said, "Fill it up with more water." The novice looked surprised but replied, "Master, the cup is already full. How can I pour more?" The monk smiled kindly. "How can I place peace into a heart already overflowing?" The novice bowed his head in silence. The master continued gently, "You lack not practice, you lack not a good heart. You only lack space. Only when you dare to pour out some of what overfills your mind can peace find room to enter. No one walks the path of liberation while clutching old baggage. Letting go is not giving up. Letting go is returning to your true self, a person light enough to step beyond suffering. Only by releasing at the right time can you move through life lightly, without being swept away by it. Life does not demand perfection. It only asks that you understand and love yourself. No one can live lightly with a heart full of entanglements, and no one is truly free while holding tight to what is past. Letting go is not abandoning the world, but learning to traverse it without carrying pain. Releasing at the right moment means knowing when to stop and knowing which things to keep in order to keep walking. Ultimately, the most precious thing in a life is not what we possess, but a soul that knows stillness, knows how to release, and knows serenity amid life's storms. The more we weather life's ups and downs, the more we realize gentleness is not weakness but a quiet blessing, and silence is not resignation but the wisdom to see far and wide. People say too gentle is foolish, yet kindness has never been a crime. In an overly pragmatic world, goodness can be mistaken for naivete. But, dear friend, do not fear being gentle, for in the end, kindness guards inner peace and unlocks the way to joy. A gentle person does not fail to feel anger but knows restraint, does not refuse to fight but chooses to release. In their hearts lies a spacious realm for forgiveness and eyes that see others with compassion, not resentment. With age comes the understanding that the gentle are blessed, not in wealth or possessions, but in a serene smile amid life's turmoil. That blessing is neither loud nor blazing, but silent like dew on a blade of grass, quietly pure, humbly profound, born not of defeating others, but of mastering oneself. Such a person needs no applause, no proof before the world. Each night as they close their eyes, their hearts remain undisturbed. No regrets, no guilt, no blame. So that they can remain gentle amid cruelty, choose kindness despite betrayal, smile before what once enraged them, and never let another's cruelty dampen their own goodness. The blessed are those whose hearts rest in peace, unmoved by worldly tongues. They grasp impermanence, know that people are but conditions, and understand that gains and losses are merely a breath. Thus they release without giving up, remain silent without resigning, living a life deep enough that no display is needed and wise enough that no contest is required. And it is precisely that serenity which makes them stand out in a hectic world. Sometimes we meet humble souls who pass through life without fanfare, yet leave an indelible calm in others' hearts. They do not contend for victory or defend right and wrong. They simply live with gentleness, patience, and boundless compassion. Some believe that gentleness is a disadvantage and silence is submission. But only when we witness a life that has known both triumph and loss, and still retained a tender heart, do we truly see that gentleness is blessing and silence is wisdom. Only after her death did I understand that gentleness is blessing, and broad compassion is what makes a person worthy of eternal remembrance. Life is like a vast field. We reap whatever we sow. Those who plant anger harvest exhaustion. Those who plant love receive tenderness. At first, the gentle may suffer losses, but eventually blessings seek them out. Like throwing a stone into water, arguing with the stubborn only muddies the depths and sinks you further. The wise choose silence, not because they cannot speak, but because they refuse to soil their own hearts. Silence is also how they listen to themselves. In a world where everyone wants their say, wants to prove, wants to win, silence allows understanding of what matters and what must be released. A man betrayed by colleagues lost his position just as his career soared. Friends and family urged him to sue, to fight back, to retaliate. But he quietly walked away, offering no explanations, making no case, simply letting go. He began again from nothing, with calloused hands and a heart without hatred. Day by day, he quietly rebuilt his life through his own skills, character, and calmness, so unbreakable that no anger could shatter it. 5 years later, the truth about his persecutor came to light. Everything was exposed. He was invited back, not only to his former position, but to one even higher, firmer, and with greater respect. Everyone was amazed to see his gentle smile as before. When asked why he never spoke out when he was wronged, he simply said, "The louder you shout, the more you obscure the truth. I chose silence so justice could have its way. You need not win with noise, win instead with time and character." In the end, you realize life needs neither many words nor many roles. Simply living kindly, living gently, and keeping inner peace is a life of true happiness. Let your gentleness be the root from which blessings grow, and let your silence be the home of wisdom. For in the end, only those with a strong inner heart can choose gentleness over conflict and silence over confrontation.